Here's a psychology fact you're not ready for. People don't quit when things get hard. They quit when things stop feeling interesting. That sounds wrong at first, because we tell ourselves we're strong enough to handle difficulty. But think about your own life. You've handled stress, deadlines, pressure. You've pushed through hard days, but the moment something becomes repetitive, slow, predictable, your energy drops, your focus fades, and suddenly quitting feels easier. If that feels uncomfortably accurate, this is about you, because the real question isn't, why do people quit? The real question is, why does boredom feel so hard to tolerate? First, let's make something clear. You're not lazy, you're not weak, and you're definitely not the only one. Your brain is doing exactly what it was designed to do, because boredom is not just a feeling, it's a signal. One of the biggest reasons people quit when things get boring is the loss of novelty. At the beginning of anything, everything feels new. New habits, new goals, new direction. Your brain releases dopamine. You feel motivated, focused, excited. But over time, that novelty fades. The task becomes familiar, predictable, and your brain reduces its interest. Not because the task is useless, but because it's no longer new. You see this everywhere. Starting a fitness routine. The first few days feel exciting. Then it becomes routine, and suddenly it feels harder to continue, not physically, mentally, or learning a skill. At the beginning, every improvement feels visible. You feel progress. But later, growth slows down, repetition increases, and your brain starts asking, is this worth it? But here's where it gets even deeper. Boredom doesn't just feel empty. It creates discomfort, restlessness, irritation, a subtle urge to escape. Your brain is pushing you towards something more stimulating, something faster, something easier. And in today's world, that escape is always available. Scrolling, notifications, quick entertainment, instant dopamine, so staying with something boring feels even harder. But here's the part most people miss. Boredom is not the problem. Boredom is the transition point. Before boredom, you're exploring. After boredom, you're building. And building is not exciting. It's repetitive. It's quiet. It doesn't give constant rewards. And this is where everything shifts. The brain has another layer here. It confuses stimulation with progress. When something feels exciting, you assume you're moving forward. When something feels boring, you assume you're stuck, even if you're improving. So the brain creates a story. This isn't working. This isn't for me. Not because it's true, but because it wants stimulation again. And this is why people restart so many times. New goals, new routines, new beginnings, always chasing that initial excitement. But as time passes, something becomes clear. Everything becomes boring eventually. Work, fitness, learning, even relationships. That realization feels uncomfortable because it means there is no permanent excitement. But it also reveals something deeper. Consistency doesn't feel exciting. It feels repetitive, and repetition is where real progress happens. But the brain still resists it, because at its core, boredom is about emotional regulation. When stimulation drops, your mind becomes more aware of everything else. Fatigue, doubt, uncertainty. And instead of sitting with that, the brain looks for escape. This is why boredom feels heavy. It's not just lack of interest. It's exposure. Exposure to thoughts you normally avoid. And here's another layer most people don't notice. Boredom challenges identity. When things are exciting, you feel like someone who is progressing. When things are repetitive, you feel stuck, even when you're not. So quitting becomes a way to protect that identity, to avoid feeling like you're not moving forward. But as you grow older, this pattern starts to change. You begin to notice cycles. You see how everything starts exciting, then becomes boring. And yet, the people who stay are the ones who build something real. That realization doesn't remove boredom, but it changes how you see it. Because at its core, this isn't about quitting. It's about what your brain is trying to avoid. It's avoiding stillness, repetition, uncertainty, the quiet part where progress is happening without applause. And when you really understand this, something shifts. You stop seeing boredom as a sign that something is wrong and start seeing it as a moment Your brain doesn't know how to enjoy yet because you were never quitting, because you couldn't continue. You were stepping away because your mind was looking for something that felt easier to stay with. And that's not failure. That's human.